My core values are simply authentic relationship. Authentic, meaningful relationship to empower others through authentic, meaningful conversation that creates maturity skills, and doing that through servant leadership. Well, I was born in the Misericordia Hospital in Winnipeg, and it's kind of a dramatic birth. My early years are my mom telling me my birth story, where I was pronounced a stillborn, and I came out alive, of course. However, the bigger picture is she already lost 5 children. So then this pronouncement would have been the 6th pronouncement of, the loss of a child. And that was just horrifically traumatizing for her. And then when I was born, she said the joy in her was just beyond what she's ever imagined. Her joy of my birth and that I'm alive actually has sat in me all my life. One of my outstanding memories is in grade 1. The teacher tells my mother, Mrs. Desmarais, don't expect your son to get past grade 7. If he achieves grade 7, that's going to be a miracle. Now, I had epilepsy, childhood epilepsy, which I didn't realize was profoundly affecting her interpretation of who I was being, because I was on a very strong medication. And so from her perspective, that made sense. However, I had this interior world in me that was very much alive and full of curiosity and loved to learn. And I actually felt quite sad that I couldn't learn things now. And I'm now a lifelong learner. I've gone to university. I've been to 3 different universities, and I'm just constantly learning and growing. And because I really love learning, I had to actually find a way in my own life. I couldn't rely on my dad at that point because he'd gone through some real crises in his own life. And it is no doubt it's from war trauma. He would yell, and he was a soldier, and he swore like a trooper because he actually was a soldier. And one of the things he would say in conflict with my mom, because they would try and figure out their issues and problems, whether it's finances or visiting somebody, normal life things, and he would get so annoyed, and he'd just stomp, and he'd just be exploding. I just can't find the right words. And he would just stomp out and go work on his car in the garage. And inside I go, actually, I know what you mean, and I know what Mom means, and I thought, man, if I could just interpret the two of you, it wouldn't take much for you to figure it out. So that phrase, I just can't find the right words, became like a launch pad for me, and I've become a wordsmith, a communicator, a conversationalist, and I work very, very hard to find the right words so that my words actually hit the mark, not just the target, but hit the mark. One leader that I'm trained under is Dr. John Maxwell, and one of his phrases is, everything rises and falls on leadership. And I really know that to be true personally. So I would seek out value-based, character-driven leaders who didn't just say things a certain way and have credentials. It was their way of being that intrigued me, because values aren't just what you do, it's who you're being. So I worked with local nonprofits in leadership and turning them around, and I was also invited into executive leadership opportunities, regionally and nationally, to speak into their lives and provide leadership because of these values that I've just seamlessly have been a part of my life. So I've transitioned from the nonprofit world into the business world. And in that world, I've been able to impact people, organizations in such a way that manifest my core beliefs that have always been there. And they're showing up in the business world now, making a difference there and creating impact. This core belief in me that drives me, this is a guiding truth for me. And I actually can thank my dad, ironically, for that. because I was aching to connect with him, and it never actually happened. However, in my interior thoughts, I would have these conversations, and now I'm having them with my children. As father, I can enter into a meaningful, heartfelt conversation with each of our children, and I've deliberately set out right from the beginning of our marriage that as we have children, my commitment is to train them experientially day to day in age appropriate conversation throughout their life, so they can have impact and significance and say what needs to be said to whoever they need to say it to, with confidence, with clarity, and impact. So as a result of connecting with my story and reflecting on it and the insight I've gained from it, which has just really been invaluable for me, I've seen the values that I consistently live by through reflecting on this story. And they weren't as clear before. They're actually much clearer now, and it's quite a powerful framework for me. My core values are simply authentic relationship. Authentic, meaningful relationship to empower others through authentic, meaningful conversation that creates maturity skills, and doing that through servant leadership. I'm Dietrich Desmarais, and that's my message to the world. That meaningful, authentic conversation will transform your personal life and your professional life.